In this episode of Highlight Sundays, serious business. Hello and welcome back to Highlight Sundays. It is the 30th week of 2014 and here are your highlights. As always, we start off with our PSA of the week. This one comes from Malwarebytes Unpacked and is entitled PUPS are persistent. Now, just to get you up to date with a couple of things here, PUPS stand for potentially unwanted programs, and the main problem being tackled by this article is the fact that PUPS are actually bundled with a lot of legitimate software downloads. Yes, you are at risk of downloading PUPS from places that might even be quite well known, places like Java and CNET. Installers from these sources might actually install some additional things on your computer. This particular blog post is actually an opinion article from one of the guys working at Malwarebytes. As I've mentioned several times already, Malwarebytes is a company that produces, anti-malware software, and they are one of those known to have extremely good results. So in this blog post, the author actually writes about quite a number of things, including the fact about how Malwarebytes is actually bundled in some bundles with PUPS in them. He also moves on to talk about fake download buttons on download sites, and how there actually is a whole science behind their placement. A very interesting read that actually talks about a lot of things that are surprisingly relevant to us. So yeah, highly encourage you check out this article. It comes from Malwarebytes Unpacked, and you can find a link to it in the video description. The Comcast story has a sequel. Now, if you remember last week, we actually took a look at the whole issue of a person trying to cancel Comcast and how basically the representative at the call center gave them a really hard time. We also took the opportunity to reflect upon Comcast's business policy, which is why of course it is quite interesting to see Comcast actually officially weighing in on the matter. This information comes from an article from The Verge and is entitled Comcast Admits Its Policies Are Responsible for Customer Harassment. Essentially, the article actually quotes a pretty long message from some representative at Comcast. And as you would expect in a message like this, there is a lot of, protecting oneself. But the key point remains that they do actually admit that the representative was acting pretty much the way they trained him to. In other words, they are going a roundabout way, but eventually admitting that, they are to take part of the blame. So that is a good start. I mean, for Comcast to actually acknowledge that there is a problem and at least expressing their desire to improve, it is a good step forward. Hopefully they will also be more conscious that, such an issue doesn't happen again in the future, and hopefully this will mean somewhat improved experience with the rest of the users. Moving on to more serious business, this article comes from Engadget and is entitled YouTube Stars Sued for Copyright to the tune of $150,000 per song. Makeup guru Michelle Phan was actually threatened with a lawsuit. She has been accused of using 50 tracks and has been asked to pay up $150,000 per track. So you can go ahead and do that multiplication. Her spokesperson actually came out to say that they have permission to use the tracks, so this lawsuit is kinda on shaky ground. But this once again shows the divide between, the traditional media and YouTube, and of course, the kind of pressure that YouTube creators have to face. I guess I'm mostly bringing this up to highlight the problem that new media users face. It will be great if fundamental changes were made to copyright law, just, to make things clearer and just make things more official, I guess. So yeah, this is mostly to raise awareness of this particular issue. We move on to our recommendation of the day. This one comes from Lifehacker and is entitled This list details all the Windows features you can safely disable. So here's the deal. Windows comes with a whole host of customization options, and most of the time, one of the favorite tweaks by Windows users is actually, removing or disabling certain features, mostly with the objective to actually make their computers run faster. However, there's of course that age-old question of what you can disable and what you shouldn't, because at some times, if you disable the wrong thing, you might break something in your computer. So having a guide telling you what you can and what you shouldn't disable is great, because then you can now do it with more confidence. So I guess, yes, that's why I'm sharing this with you. If you're interested in tinkering with your computer, definitely check out the contents of this link. Anyway, that is pretty much it for this episode of Highlight Sundays. Once again, no vlog segment today, so thank you very much for watching. Until next time, you're watching 0612 TV. Hello, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, remember that I appreciate every like, favorite, and comment you give me. If you'd like to see more from me in the future, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And for more updates outside of YouTube, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at 0612TV. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.